But let the exposure of how embedded racism is in our criminal injustice system, let this story serve as a reminder, not a surprise or not the first time any of you have heard this. This is what it is. So here we are. It's Burn It Down with Kim Brown. Thank you guys so much for joining us here Tuesday, Friday, 7 p.m. So let's talk about racists. Let's talk about racist judges. Ooh, this story coming out of New York State. Now, this is an update to the original scenario that occurred in upstate New York. I want to say it's New Hartford, New York. Is that a place? I don't, because I remember, was it New Haven or New Hartford? It was someplace new something, upstate New York. My apologies. We're going to get the details in the package. So picture it. Upstate New York, July 2022. There's a high school graduation party happening at a house. Teenagers, 17, 18, high school seniors, new graduates, etc. Kids are having a good time. And this is white folks, okay? it's white people enjoying themselves, just being white, just enjoying it. Oh man, is that nice? It's got to be nice, right? So anyway, so black kids show up and the whites are no longer having a nice time. Now, to be clear, allegedly, these 4 black teenagers arrived at this party after receiving a text message from person unknown with the address to the party. So it would seem that the children having the party and the children who showed up supposedly uninvited, I'm not convinced about that. The black kids that showed up uninvited, there was a confrontation, even a fight. And when the fight happened, the police came. And fortunately, I don't think anybody was arrested. But what happened was one of the party attendees happened to be a New York State Supreme Court judge, right? And when I tell you the judge was in the party talking shit, when I tell you the judge, the white woman judge was talking so much shit to these black children and talking shit to the cops and dropping the fact that she's a fucking sitting judge and I got juice and y'all niggas don't. And police, y'all better come in here and deal with these unruly black children or else. Oh, it was peak. Mwah. it was peak Judge Karen out this bitch. So the judge, because of her comments and because of her improper conduct as a judge, has been now suggested for removal from the bench. But you guys got to hear it better than you can believe it. So let us go to the package. And again, this incident happened back in 2022, but there has been a wrinkle, a new development in the story. But you guys got to hear this. Listen to this. Check it out.
Video just released capturing State Supreme Court Justice Erin Gall threatening to shoot a group of black teenagers.
They'll be shot on the property.
Well, I'm just letting you know that
because
the best case
when
scenario,
they trespass, you can shoot them on the property.
They should just come here and just...
No, I'm just saying.
Every day?
I'll shoot them on the property.
No.
The judge was at a high school graduation party at her friend's house when authorities say there was an argument between invited and uninvited guests. A group of black teenagers who received a text invite to the party with the address then arrived, and a fight broke out shortly after.
Kind of split open pretty far.
Yeah, I've been telling him since I got eyes on him that he needs to go get checked out.
He was definitely hit with something.
During the scuffle, the teens lost the keys to their car and couldn't leave the neighborhood, appearing to upset Gall, who wanted the children to leave, but refused to turn over their car keys if she found them.
If the key turns up,
we're absolutely going to throw it in the toilet. You're welcome.
Somebody's sister's coming to pick them up and get them out of here, and I'm going to get his information, and if we find the
back
keys...
of the cop car, let him wait there.
5 law enforcement agencies arrived on the scene during the more than hour-long ordeal, during which the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct said the judge repeatedly invoked her judicial office.
And that's Judge Gall. I'm a judge. I'm telling you, get off the
Hey, dude, go in at the car.
I'm a Supreme Court judge.
I know
I'm
you, Judge.
sitting here.
Threatened gun violence,
I'll shoot them on the
No,
phone.
no.
If I have to clear it out, I will.
and both criticized and pledged favored treatment for the police.
The good part is, I'm always on your side. You know I'd take anyone down for you guys. You know that. You know that. You know I am on your side.
Video also captures the judge making comments about the black teen's intelligence levels.
They don't look like they're that smart. You're not going to business school, that's why.
And praising her son for beating up partygoers, among other comments.
He put a smack down once he got hit.
Hey, I didn't say it was one-sided.
The commission now calling for the judge to be removed from the bench. The commission administrator telling CBS 6 it is utterly unacceptable for a judge to threaten gun violence, exhibit racial prejudice, promise favorable treatment for the police, or disparage a law intended to keep guns away from dangerous people. Any one of these things would undermine public confidence in the administration of justice. That all this and more was committed by one judge disqualifies her from further service on the bench. Now, Gall's attorney did provide a statement in a brief released by the commission saying the judge was in shock at the time, saying the incident triggered a trauma response to her own assault in the 90s.
I'm sorry, what? Did that sound like a woman traumatized by an incident that had happened 30 years prior? Absolutely not. That sounded like a woman who was beyond entitled, even entitled on some other people's property. That wasn't even her fucking house. She going on and in like that, going that hard at somebody else's house over somebody else's property. You guys, where do we even begin? So hold on. Let's start with some of the basics here about Judge Erin Gall. Erin Gall has been on the bench in Oneida County, New York since 2012. She is a Republican. And I want to commend the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct on taking this video seriously. Because within that video, she demonstrated a willingness to threaten violence against minors. She demonstrated clear racial bias, and she also demonstrated clear bias towards the police. I'm on your guys' side. You know I'm on your side. Oh, bitch, really? How often are you on the police side? On barbecues at your friend's house for the high school graduation party? Or are you on the police side every single fucking time you're on the bench? Do you feel or have the same opinions about black people as you expressed about those black children? Do you express those views and opinions, maybe not explicitly on the bench, but explicitly through your rulings and your judgments? Willingness to threaten gun violence. I will clear this whole motherfucker out. You heard what she said. And she knew she was talking to and about children. And let me tell you something. Shout out to Dr. Kehinde Andrews. Big fan of Dr. Andrews. Dr. Andrews has a book out called Psychosis of Whiteness. I've checked out Dr. Andrews' previous 2 books. I have not yet checked out The Psychosis of Whiteness, but by the title alone, I am intrigued. Okay. And I think even not having read the book, I know exactly what the fuck he means by psychosis of whiteness. And you guys do too, because right there in that video, everybody, by the way, but for the fucking video, this bitch wouldn't even be in fucking trouble. You understand? But for the video, wasn't nobody going to report this bitch for nothing, about nothing, nothing. Judge Erin Gall was going to continue to rule and preside in Oneida County, be it as racist and as violent as she is, with no questioning of her conduct or of her views, but regardless. The psychosis of whiteness tells these black teens that y'all need to leave. But if we find your car keys, we're going to throw it in the toilet. Thank you very much. Does any of that make any fucking sense? You don't want these children here. They arrived at the event via driving their own vehicle. In the physical melee that happened, the black children's keys became separated from them. And the motherfucking white folks who are demanding that the black children leave immediately, who have called now 5 different law enforcement agencies to the scene to address this, right? Have said that despite the fact that we want them to leave immediately, well, we found their keys and we're not going to give them to them. So they can't fucking leave. You better find someplace else to leave. The psychosis of whiteness wants to make the lives of non-white people, but definitely black and brown folks, exponentially harder, even in instances in which when it benefits the white folks, right? We all know this. Racists will cut off their nose to spite their face as long as they still get to be fucking racist. You know what I'm saying? Does it hurt them? Sure. But do they get to exercise that white privilege and that white power over you? Oh, yeah. So it's worth it. You know what I'm saying? So this lady would rather rant and rave in public, being captured on camera, announcing all of her biases as a judge, whilst announcing that I am a judge. And now she's in danger of being thrown off the bench. We'll pop up that Newsweek article for me because, as you heard in the package, the New York State Commission on Judicial Review has recommended that Judge Gall, Gall, because that bitch had the gall. That bitch had some gall. Judge Gall, they recommended for Judge Gall to get the fuck up out of here. Panel urges removal of judge allegedly threatening to shoot black teens. I don't know. Can you call it alleged when she's caught on video? It's like that's her, right? Like that's not somebody else. That wasn't Sandy. No, that was Erin. That was Erin Gall, Judge G, saying that I will clear this whole motherfucking out. Saying that you could just shoot him. No, that was her. I don't know if I don't think we have to caveat that with alleged. So, by the way, everybody, this lady has been suspended from the bench with pay. You guys want to know how much Judge G pulls in for being racist as fuck and siding with the cops on the bench? Oh, she makes over $230,000 a year doing that. And she's still receiving her check because she's suspended with pay. No. Let this be a reminder. Even though I don't know how big of a story this is, if it's big at all, I don't know if anyone's paying attention to this. But if you think for a second that this particular judge's views are alone on an island out here when it comes to their willingness to agree and go along with police, for their willingness to be openly and explicitly hostile to black people, especially black males, that is who occupies the benches. That is who are the arbiters of our criminal justice system. You could take the article down, Will. Thank you. That is who is deciding life and death. That is who is making the decisions between probation before judgment and some sort of mandatory minimum sentence if it's at the judge's discretion to do so. That's who that is. That, again, all part of the system. You can take the article down, Will. Thank you. All part of the system that Kamala Harris and the Democrats want you to get out here and fight so hard to uphold. And they would say, hey, part of the reason we need to get out here and fight is to combat against judges like that. Incorrect. This woman, this judge, Erin Gall. Hey, Will, you can take the article down. Thank you, bro. This judge, Erin Gall, probably mingles, socializes, does all kinds of things with Democrats, prosecutors, other judges, elected officials, the gamut. Because the system is incestuous, right? And the fix is in. The fix is always in against defendants, especially defendants from marginalized communities who are disenfranchised walking through the door of a courthouse with the likes of Judge Erin Gall on the bench. And here's the thing, guys. You know one of the themes I like to talk about is the farce that cancel culture is a thing, right? This lady was caught on tape being racist. She still gets to collect a check. I'm sure she still lives very comfortably. I'm sure her children are going to a very good school, right? Even if she does get removed from the bench, what do you think is going to happen to her? You think she's going to be a pariah in Oneida County? you think people are not going to speak to her at the farmers market because she got caught on tape being fucking racist? You think there's any social consequence for this lady whatsoever beyond the humiliation of maybe losing her job? Don't you think that the system of white power and white capitalism that has proven to us that it rewards racist actions and behaviors, even racist actions and behavior that result in murders and that result in people losing their lives? These are not disqualifying things in racist white America. So as much as this lady claims to be going through, oh, I was so traumatized. This has all been very difficult for me and my family. How do you think those black teens felt at that party? It's my guess that those kids were probably set up for some bullshit, right? Somebody sent them kids the fucking address. They wasn't just riding around New Hartford, New York, looking for the party to crash. Someone told them to come. And when they came in the club shaking their dreads, throwing their bow, busting their heads, all them white parents started clutching their pearls. And who invited them? And then the kids that invited them had to fucking act like they had amnesia. Well, we don't know who invited Jamal and them. No one good and goddamn well. Y'all invited Jamal and them. Stop fucking playing. But no, these black children were in a place, in a neighborhood, in a zip code in which white folks did not felt as though they belonged. So the police were called. Violence ensued. And there actually might be a slight consequence. But anyway, I hope the kids, those black teens specifically, are doing well. I hope they themselves were not traumatized by this incident. I hope they themselves were not overly traumatized by being, in my opinion, lured to a party in which the likelihood of a racial confrontation was elevated, right? I think those kids were lured there. And then for the white adults to behave in the ways in which their ancestors would absolutely be proud, to terrorize black teens and to make shit hard for them just because they can. Yeah, well, if we find your fucking car keys, we're going to put it down the toilet. You're welcome. The psychosis of whiteness. I'll keep you posted on what happens to this judge. We rooting for removal, but again, removal, and then what? Someone's going to give her a job. She's going to get to work in someone's law firm. She's going to be a consultant somewhere. She's going to start her own consulting firm, right? We know how this story goes. A moment or temporary public humiliation just to resume whiting as usual. just to let me pick up my whiting in progress where I was doing well whilst being racist and a piece of shit. Yeah, we had a temporary setback, but nope, we gonna be back on track. Mark my motherfucking words, what I tell y'all. We gonna be watching this shit. Judge Erin Gall. Bye, bitch.